It's beginning to look a lot like Epstein will be the end of Trump. And it can't come fast enough. And now, Mark Epstein, the brother of disgraced sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, is sending Donald Trump an early Christmas gift. The kind that Trump will not want and that he cannot return. And for those of us that want to know what Donald Trump knew about Epstein's crimes and when he knew it, and if he participated in them, this is an early Christmas surprise to last us the whole year round. Get out those sugar cookies. The Epstein files are coming to town. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Once again, coming to you from Grandma's house. I wouldn't spend my holidays any other way, so please forgive the dubious lighting. On to our story. Last Friday saw the mandated release of the Epstein files, but as many of us predicted, that release itself has pushed the bounds of legality. Most of the files still haven't been opened, and the new documents released to the public look to have been selectively redacted to conceal any mention of Donald Trump. Democrats are even preparing to sue the administration over this mess. Here's a rundown.
Tonight, the bipartisan duo behind the effort to force the Department of Justice to release the Jeffrey Epstein files, escalating pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi after her agency failed to release all files related to Epstein ahead of last Friday's deadline set by the law.
The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi.
Republican Thomas Massie and Democrat Ro Khanna announcing they will attempt to use the rare oversight tool that in this case would require the support of Republicans.
Bring it on. We are doing everything we're supposed to be doing to comply with this statute.
In an exclusive interview with NBC's Kristen Welker, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche claiming the delay is justified.
The statute also requires us to protect victims. And so the reason why we are still reviewing documents and still continuing our process is simply that, to protect victims.
If Congress votes to hold Bondi in inherent contempt, she could be detained until the DOJ complies with the law. Some Democrats saying,
I think that's premature.
Blanche also defending the nearly 700 pages completely blacked out in the DOJ's initial release of the Epstein files, and the removal of more than a dozen photos, including at one point this image showing a picture of Epstein appearing with President Donald Trump, alongside other framed photos of the convicted sex offender posing with celebrities and politicians. The photo was posted on Friday. Then it was gone without immediate explanation. After backlash, the DOJ explaining it was taken down out of an abundance of caution for further review and has since been reposted.
It has nothing to do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public, seeing him with Mr. Epstein. So the absurdity of us pulling down a photo, a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable.
And it just got even more scandalous. Stay with me here. Trump's sudden turnabout on the files, signing the Epstein Transparency Act into law after obfuscating on the files for months, raised some alarms. Why the sudden change of heart? Well, the release of the files seems to support earlier rumors that Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director and douche canoe Kash Patel had their deputies redacting the files to remove any mention of Trump earlier this year, which, I think, will likely have the opposite effect from what the pair intended. This only raises more questions, and redacting the files in this way is likely illegal. And now Mark Epstein has just hurled a wrench into the already rusty machine, and even better, he did so on a Republican propaganda network. Appearing this morning on News Nation via phone, Mark Epstein revealed that the Trump administration is using a designated facility in Virginia to redact the Epstein files as they go public. Have a listen.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source.
Wait. Can we hear that again? I want to hear it again.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source.
Winchester, Virginia, huh? You know why that's suspicious? The FBI has its significant Central Records Complex, or CRC, in Winchester. That is, for the record, a massive high-tech facility using robots to store, manage, and digitize billions of pages of historical and active FBI files. So, in other words, if any mass redactions were taking place, and the released files prove that there are, that would be the facility where they would most likely be processed. It's also significant that the CRC is not open to the public, so it would offer a higher degree of, shall we say, discretion than other FBI offices might. You know, just like Jeffrey Epstein's island used to. This reminds me of the Watergate scandal when, rather than release the tapes that proved Nixon organized the cover-up and hush money for the burglars, he released redacted transcripts of the tapes. And if you remember that period, you know that the tactic backfired and made the public even more suspicious of the president. So, to borrow another favorite Watergate quote, what did the president know and when did he know it? This saga is far from over, and it continues to blow back on Donald Trump and his defenders. Remember, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on the Epstein scandal and all other breaking news. This is Occupy Democrats.